Hello and welcome back to the Tyre Straights Podcast, the most unprofessional motorsports podcast you're going to find on the internet. Today, me and my lovely co-host here, Scobbert.
Hello,
Are you there?
I'm here.
There you go. Perfect. We are going to be covering the other series that we follow while we usually cover Formula One mainly. We thought as it's the mid-season break, Formula One, we've got plenty of time to kill, in theory, between races. We thought we'd do a little bit of a catch up on the other series that we watch. So, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Feeling ready to talk about some racing cars going round and round. Mr. Doots, what?
Some big ovals.
Yes.
For you.
Well, oh yeah. What series are we talking about today?
So today we're going to be covering just the ones that we usually go over, which is NASCAR or the NASCAR Cup Series, MotoGP, ELMS and WEC, or WEC, so endurance racing, Formula E, IndyCar, and then the World Rally Championship.
Marvelous.
Before that, we usually start with a little bit of news about Formula One, but realistically, nothing has happened in the Formula One world over the past. Since we've recorded the last episode, all that's happened, I believe, is George Russell has gotten engaged and Charles Leclerc has announced that he's having a kid.
Yeah, the F1 TV directors are literally salivating.
They are creaming their jaws.
They're ready.
But
they're ready to film.
It's concerning because the more of them get engaged and have children, the less and less we're going to see of the racing.
Yeah, we're just going to... Eventually, it's just going to be an hour and a half of just watching the drivers' girlfriends. Or in this case, wives. Wives, I guess.
Yeah.
Or fiancés at this stage,
and
I suppose.
We just have to judge based on how they react on who's crashed.
Yeah. It's just going to be a podcast, basically, while looking at some women.
Yeah.
Oh, it takes me back to the F1 in the 70s.
Oh, God. Yeah, Jordan, where they were on in yellow suits.
Oh, this is for everyone who complained about them getting rid of the grid girls.
Yeah. Anyway,
yes.
Regardless, before we start, however, I will just quickly say, if you enjoy this podcast, please feel free to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and then on Instagram with our Instagram account. That's where we do most of our social posting.
Indeed.
And if you've got any questions or topics or things you want us to cover in another episode or a separate video, then please do drop it in the comments on whatever platform. We'll read them wherever it is. Preferably YouTube, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, anything like that we tend to try and feature in the next corresponding episode. Just means that we can get our 5 audience members involved and really provide for our community as we try to do week in, week out.
Indeed. Now, let's kick it off. Why don't you start us with the NASCAR, Scott?
Yeah, so NASCAR Cup Series is what I typically spend most of my time watching aside from F1. And every week on the podcast, if there's been a race, I'll always cover it at the end of the episode. So not much different this week, except obviously I get to do a slightly deeper dive into it. And so far, the season itself has been really quite varied. And it's like the way I'd characterize it is having quite an unpredictable flow. Like as soon as it looks like one driver is set to dominate, they just stop winning or even just go on a massive decline, like some serious struggles. Namely, with that, Tyler Reddick. He went on a tear at the start of the season. He won the first 3 races in a row. He basically was put on his Kimi Antonelli grind. You know, this is he only won his first race last year, and then won 6 this year. Well, no, he has got up to 6 race wins this year under his belt. But after that, no, he's now struggling a lot with reliability issues, bad luck, and just mistakes. He went from being, to put it into perspective, he was over 100 points ahead of second place. I think it was like 123 at one point, to now being 4th in the standings with 120 points separating him from the championship leader, Denny Hamlin. Hamlin himself has also not won in 7 races after also getting a 3-peat for himself prior. His luck is definitely better than Reddick's, and so is his consistency. He's one of only 2 drivers this season to not suffer a retirement, and he may be 103 points ahead of second place, and he's still getting consistent top 5s. But come the start of the chase, he's really going to need to net himself every point he can get, and it's still all to play for as Ryan Blaney and Ty Gibbs they closed the gap in the championship top 5. So yeah, it's been an interesting season, and I'm definitely looking forward to the continuation. It's not like they go on a summer break or anything; they're still going. It's not like this is the point in time where everyone can breathe. They're racing again, coming soon. But so far this season, something we've done for all of the series as well is we've just given a quick rundown of our top drivers and our flop drivers of the season so far. And right, so my top drivers for NASCAR Cup Series are Denny Hamlin, the current points leader. He's the guy I've been pulling for quite a while now, since I started watching at least. And then also Ryan Blaney, Ty Gibbs, the second and third in the championship. They've really impressed this season, especially Gibbs, being as young as he is. They're both pulling really well. And then also Christopher Bell has been having quite a good season. Came very close to winning at the last race, and I'll get to that in just a second, but couldn't quite make it happen. And then flop drivers, this is where it gets kind of sad, because we've got Carl Larson, the defending 2-time champion, who has just been having such a nothing season. Like, he's just been nowhere. He's DNF'd several times. He's made mistakes. He's had ridiculously bad reliability. And even when he's been doing all right, his team has made bad mistakes, like pulling him into the pits or releasing him into traffic. Even in the pit lane, he's crashed in the pit lane. Like, it's just not been a good season for Carl Larson. And then John Hunter Nemechek, who is the bane of my existence. I've hated him since Martinsville. And then Will Byron. This is a technical one, kinda, considering that he was top 5 last year, but he's been having a bit of a nothing season. He's not been doing badly, I will just say. Like, I don't know if I'd necessarily call him a flop driver, but just compared to 2025, how well he was doing there. And, he was the Daytona 500 winner. He was, like I said, top 5 by the end of the chase. He was in the running for the title, but this season he'll be in the running again, but he'll need to pick it up when the chase begins, because otherwise, if he continues his current form, it's not going to be enough. But yeah, that's my top and flop drivers. And then just to quickly go over the most recent race, the Iowa Corn 350. Iowa Speedway is always quite interesting. I remember when they first added it to the calendar. 2 years ago, 2024, yeah. There was some tyre issues because they had to repave it. But yeah, it's always been an interesting one, and this one was not much different. It seemed like Christopher Bell was going to be the winner, but then Ty Gibbs swooped in on the last run of green flag pit stops. He only swapped in for 2 tyres rather than the full 4, which for someone who doesn't know NASCAR isn't uncommon, but is more of a strategy thing. And he was able to hold off Bell's attempts to retake the lead until the checkered flag, and it was quite exciting to watch that showdown. I was hoping that Gibbs would be able to get another win. It's his first wins this season, and he's doing pretty well. But it's another hard day for Tyler Reddick. I sort of spoke about his woes earlier, and this race was no different, if not worse, than the usual, because the former championship leader on only lap 4 caused an incident that wrecked himself and fellow Toyota runner Eric Jones. Reddick took full responsibility after and apologised, but this action has almost certainly cost Jones a spot in the chase, which he had been fighting for until then. He was fighting for one of the last spots, but with only 3 races until the start of the chase, he's really going to struggle unless the other drivers in contention also suffer DNFs and retirements. But yeah, 3 races to go until the chase begins, meaning we're going to be really seeing drivers fight absolutely tooth and nail to the last drop of oil and the last set of tyres. So this is where things really start to get good.
Yeah, fair enough. Very nice. Right, moving on from NASCAR. I admit to talk about MotoGP. I absolutely love it to pieces. It's brilliant racing at the moment. We're about to go into a new regulation set with the 850cc bikes. This season's been an odd one, because the actual racing hasn't been as good as last year's, but it's also been a hell of a lot less dominant than last year's showing, where Marc Marquez absolutely tore everything to pieces. But the championship fight has mainly been between the Aprilias of Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi, with Bezzecchi having a fantastic start to the season, which fell away with a string of 4 really bad races, including a horrendously fast crash, and punching a marshal, which got him excluded from one of the races. Or maybe it was slapping a marshal, my bad, which was very funny.
It so much better.
Yeah, no, it was especially funny because he gave him the glove that he slapped him with, which I know is meant to be like a kind gesture, but I feel like that's a little bit of insult to injury. But regardless, Aprilia on the whole as a bike has easily been the best, with both the Aprilia factory team and the satellite of Trackhouse being the 2 top teams at the moment. Also helped by just having a good mix of drivers. Bezzecchi and Martin, obviously, fantastic at the moment. But Ayagura and Raul Fernandez have been putting in absolute work and a half, and I'll definitely get to talking about one of them soonish. Ducati, who were top of the constructors or manufacturers last year, fallen off a little bit, mainly from the GP26 not being quite as good as the year before. But the main factory team has mainly been operating all right. Marquez has had some injuries, so it's kind of hard to judge too much. And actually, Pecco Bagnaia has been considerably better this year. He's actually felt like he's driven the bike as much as he can, rather than crumbling behind his better teammate. And one of the satellite teams, the VR46, has also been doing kind of really good. Half of them have, with Fabio Di Gianantonio putting in some brilliant results and even managing to get a win for the team during a very chaotic Catalunya race. But the one that's fallen the most has been Grassini, but that is entirely due to injury. That is due to a horrendous crash once again at Catalunya from Alex Marquez, who did also manage to get a win with the team at their previous outing in Spain and Jerez. But Fermin Aldeguer has kind of just been out of the running for most of the season. He was injured for the start of the season, came back, injury hadn't fully settled, so he was still not up to pace. Managed to get a podium, but ended up getting injured again later in the season, is currently still sitting out recovering. Outside of the top 2 manufacturers, you have KTM, who have been going through a ringer and a half, a very tumultuous time for them, with mixed performances throughout, besides Pedro Acosta, who has been consistent, gun level. He's thankfully escaping from KTM for next year, but on the whole, they've not been having a great time, and to not help that, they've had someone absolutely tearing the house down around him, which is not going to be helping in the slightest going forward, and is very, very likely going to lose him his seat, so I shall talk about him shortly. Honda, as a team, have been improving with the combination of the two, both the LCR and HRC Honda. With both Morera and Marini having really good performances throughout the year, especially Morera being one of the 2 rookies and the one that is performing the best, but also it's not saying much. However, the loss of Zarco, who was probably one of their better riders in general due to a horrendous injury once again at Barcelona, has definitely hurt their performance overall and the amount of points that they're raking in. And to finish off the constructor discussion, Yamaha. They're a shambling corpse at this point. Fabio Quartararo is basically begging to go anywhere else, and thankfully there was a brilliant question on if there was any debate on whether he would stay at Yamaha next year, even with money or performance changes or anything, and his answer was no. Nothing else, just no. He wanted out of there. There was no second consideration. And that it kind of goes the same with, Alex Rins hasn't really been doing anything for a while. But he's still, he's quite badly injured generally. And then it's so upsetting to see Toprak, someone who absolutely dominated World Superbikes, have to go to Prima Pramac and do nothing because the bike is so bad that he can't do anything. And it does look like it's in fact, it's pretty much confirmed it's a full switch up for Yamaha, which, oh my god, it's insane that two of the people that are fighting for the championship going forward, being Martin and Agura, look to be the ones that are moving to the Yamaha factory. And if that doesn't improve, that is a waste of two titanic talents. Anyway, moving on from the general season so far, onto any tracks. There was a new track at Brazil, which was very strange with the track breaking up.
Good.
And the race not... Yeah, no, it was absolute chaos for a bit, but it wasn't anything too great racing-wise. It was just chaotic. Throughout the year, I'd say the best Grand Prix might have been... Actually, I really liked Assen. I thought Assen's a good race, but that's partially because my favourite rider won. But regardless, let's move on to the top and flop drivers for MotoGP so far this year. And top drivers, while the championship battle has mainly been between Bezzecchi and Martin, I think drivers that need to be talked about first, Agura. My god, what a great second year in the sport. Obviously, he had the fantastic, for those who watched last year, he came out of the gates on his first Grand Prix and got 5th or 4th at Thailand. And after that, he kind of had a bit of an air season, but also the Aprilia wasn't quite up to spec. Now that he's got that bike underneath him, he's so calm, he's so collected. He's constantly putting in great performances. His late race pace is potentially the best on the grid. No one makes old tyres work quite like Agura at the moment. And he just gives nothing away off track. He's not he's very much like Piastri used to be viewed. It seems like nothing can shake him. But and he's doing brilliant, currently 3rd in the championship after a not so great Britain.
See what you did there.
What?
I see what you did.
I didn't even mean that in the slightest. That was not meant to be a joke. That was just saying, God, he had a bad weekend.
Okay, never mind. I thought you were,
no,
you were being slick.
I totally meant to do that.
Just play it off.
Yeah.
Lyrical, miracle, spiritual, miracle, individual.
But no, moving on to the other top driver that I want to talk about is Fabio Di Giannantonio, and this is going to be a tale of two halves for VR46. Managing to get another win, absolutely fantastic from him, really stepping up the game from last year, consistent podiums, a couple of pole positions as well, and probably the most consistent rider throughout the entire season, having only retired from one Grand Prix so far, which is shocking considering how rare that is. I think the only person who's more consistent than that is Luca Marini, who I probably should mention, doing great for Honda at the moment, and I'm hoping to see him move to another seat and not be booted from the sport. But regardless, now on to the flop drivers, and need to talk about Maverick Vinales, who for the Tech 3 KTM has been nothing but trouble this year. After an year last year, he finally was putting in the work to try and come back, but getting a little bit injured. Things aren't going to be up to spec. And the problem now is, you're injured, you try to come back, you get injured again, and you're not keeping up to pace with the other KTM riders. What you do in that situation is not try and have an absolute go at KTM that they're not providing you enough stuff and they're failing you as a team. Not try and demand that you deserve a factory ride, despite the fact you've done literally nothing to show that you deserve it. Considering that you're the closest KTM to you is in 13th, and you are currently in 22nd. I don't think you've got any foot to stand on, and you don't burn bridges with your multiple-time world champion supervisor and Jorge Lorenzo.
What
Like,
does he do?
I genuinely don't understand how someone can be so, like, self-destructive yet unaware. But I understand it's the fact that he came in as this like young hothead who was looking to rival the top drivers, and it never went anywhere just because there were other really good drivers at the time. And so you've got this ego built up, and now that it's finally being broken apart by just not having the performance, you don't know what to do. It's ridiculous. But I very much doubt he's going to be hanging around the sport next year. However, onto the other flop driver I just want to talk about is Franco Morbidelli, who is the other half of VR46, and it's mainly from just such a gulf in performance compared to his teammate. Because honestly, he has scored points in pretty much in all but one round. So it could be worse, but also considering he was a lot higher and he causes so many incidents. Like, my God, like, even if he doesn't crash, he causes so many crashes that it's absurd. And I mean, it's pretty much confirmed that he's not returning next year unless there's some kind of shock signing. It's most likely he'll go to World Superbikes. Also, a quick shout out to Joan Mir. He's not actually done that bad this year, but he has only finished 4 of the Grand Prix so far this year. But every single time he crashes, and nearly always it's not his fault. I guarantee you, someone could drop like their hot dog in the stands at the American Grand Prix, and it would somehow slip, bounce, and jam straight into his throttle. Oh. It's just the most one of the most unlucky men I've ever seen.
That's like possibly worse than the whole Hulkenberg kill switch incident.
It's about like, this didn't actually happen, but I'm saying it's like he's just so unlucky.
I'm just saying it would be. Like, yeah. It's on that level.
Yeah.
Puts it in perspective.
yeah. But no, anyway, moving on to the race that just happened over the weekend, which was the Grand Prix of Britain at Silverstone. The sprint race was won by Jorge Martin, and it was a rather boring sprint in all fairness, besides a pretty unfortunate crash from Raul Fernandez. But Bez, coming back post-surgery, he put in an absolute great showing in both races, getting P3 in both the sprint and main race. I will say also this is just after the summer break, because while F1 is on a summer break, currently MotoGP has just come back from theirs, similar length of time, but it's a nice little crossover. In the main race, Raul Fernandez ended up winning, which was brilliant to see him back on top. And lots of people ended up losing it throughout the race. So it was, great to see that he held on of all people. But it was such a shame to see Agura losing it. And it's probably his first actual big mistake this season. But, he's still got second in the sprint. There's still plenty of time throughout the season, and he's still doing brilliant for that Trackhouse. And then I also want to quickly bring up, because it's something that I've seen going around on social media, and also I did watch the race. I don't usually talk about the feeder series for MotoGP, which Moto2 and Moto3, also very good. But specifically for the Moto2 race, the current championship leader of Manuel Gonzalez was doing fantastic, leading the race as per standard, and he decided to slow down and celebrate a lap early. So he, moving on to the main straight, he starts easing off to celebrate and whatnot, pop a wheelie or whatever, and everyone else shoots past him. Because, of course, the race isn't actually over. And then an insanely good one-lap tight battle between 3 of them for the top spot engaged, with Philip Salach ending up winning. And the thing that people don't seem to understand is that, yes, OnlyFans American Racing Team is a real team. OnlyFans is the title sponsor. It is not that funny, trust me. But it's the amount of people that, when it was Philip Salach takes the win for OnlyFans American, everyone's going, took the win for who? Took the win for who?
It is a little bit funny.
It's a little funny, but it's not that funny. I just think it's funny that in a situation where the guy who would have won in dominant fashion slowed down too early.
It just amuses me that because like in a completely different like an online racing series. Reality is stranger than fiction because we had Manscaped John Deere F1 team.
Yeah, that's not shocking.
It just doesn't, reality is stranger than fiction in that we now have OnlyFans American racing team.
I mean,
it is a little bit funny.
I'm pretty sure OnlyFans American has been around for a little bit, but yeah.
Oh, no, I don't watch motorbike racing though. This is the first time hearing it.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit funny, but I just find the fact that in a race where something as crazy as like a 1-lap shootout after the leader thought he was finishing a lap early, and the thing everyone focuses on is just that it's OnlyFans American racing.
Yeah, it's like oh god, who was it at Monaco? Or was it Macau? No, I think it was Monaco. What? It was like Formula 3000 or something back in the day. You had an incident where one of the drivers slowed down before the finish line, and he got overtaken by the second place driver. It was like a really big thing that was like really famous because it was so stupid, but I can't remember his name.
I'm not sure.
I suppose history remembers the winner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even remember the winner myself. Then we have Formula 3000's a bit further than I follow back. I
want to say it was Mika Hakkinen, but I think it was more recent than that. I think it was by the time Hakkinen was in F1, so I don't know.
Oh, fair. Mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Probably.
Although the only one fact I do remember is the team that the guy was racing for was run by Christian Horner before he run Red Bull in F1.
Oh, okay.
So there's that at least little factoid.
Yeah, fair enough. Right.
But yes.
Now I think that's all for MotoGP. If we move on to
the endurance series, so I've got a little bit of a thing for World Endurance Championship and European Le Mans series. So WEC's been pretty close at the front actually. In terms of the actual manufacturer standings, BMW is hot on the tail of Toyota. But in terms of the actual team, like car driving standings, you've got the number 20 BMW currently holding the championship lead based on results, but is tied with the Le Mans winning number 7 Toyota, which, with changes to the point system and big shuffles in the calendar coming, obviously with Spain and Imola. Yes, Imola. Am I going insane?
What? Yeah, no, it was Imola.
Yeah, exactly. With them being brought in. Sorry, I was thinking about the ELMS race because ELMS' last race was at
sorry, no, Monza.
Monza, that's it. Oh, I knew it was Italy somewhere. Yes, I was saying the last European Le Mans Series race was at Imola, and that's what I was writing about.
I'm pretty sure they already had Imola.
Yes, they have. Yeah,
it's Monza that they.
Monza. No, I'm completely blanked there, but yeah. There's some big shuffles in the calendar coming, and that's left sort of a big factor of unpredictability in the air. Because, Ferrari is still in position to claw it back in theory. They're currently, the number 51 Ferrari is currently 4th in the standings. But it really could go any way. I can't say with any certainty who I think is going to win at this stage, just with all the changes coming and everything that's been going on. Meanwhile, LMGT3 is currently led by the number 33 TF Sport Corvette, which they've got a massive lead of 27 points over the number 92 Manthey Porsche, which is quite big because, they with the new points system coming in, that's just over a race win worth of points. So it'll take a big effort, whether it's the Porsche or someone else, for them to catch up at this stage. But it's not impossible. Like I said, with everything going on, anything can happen. Meanwhile, European Le Mans Series has had quite a exciting and equally, if not more so, unpredictable season so far. I would have never guessed this, but the LMP2 standings are currently led by the number 22 United Autosports car, which finished the championship last year in 12th place. So they've made a huge improvement. They're only 6 points ahead of the number 29 Forestia Racing by Panis car after 4 out of 7 rounds. So it is close at the front, but it has been a huge turnaround for United Autosports, which is the team backed by Zach Brown in this series. Meanwhile, the Pro-Am LMP2 class, where they pair up a racing driver with sort of a amateur racing driver, as the name suggests. It's seen its fair share of chaos, with several teams suffering from honestly bizarre incidents. I mean, it might be recency bias because the most recent round in Imola, there were several random, like just towards the midpoint of the race, there were several just random incidents, all involving Pro-Am class cars, just crashing for no reason. But the number 20 Algarve Pro Racing machine, which finished second by 5 points last year, is tied for the championship lead with the number 7 Vector Sport car. Yeah. But with how chaotic the Pro-Am class has been so far, nothing can be said about the title battle with any certainty yet. So, that could go anywhere. And Pro-Am has always just been quite fun. I don't take it too seriously like I would in the same vein LMP2 or LMGT3 or LMP3 as well, because that also is in ELMS. But it is quite funny. But the other sort of highlight for me is LMGT3 is led by the standings are led by a familiar face from WEC. It's the number 33 TF Sport Corvette, which is currently leading the LMGT3 standings in WEC as well, which is very impressive. Although in ELMS it's not by as much. They've only got a lead of 1 point over the number 75 Proton Competition Porsche. So it's not wrapped up quite so convincingly there yet, but with only 3 rounds left, if they continue on their form, they will by all means have taken that title there. Now, instead of drivers for this one, we've gone with the teams just because it makes a little bit more sense.
Makes a bit more sense, yeah.
Yeah, so for the top teams, we've got, in WEC just generally, I've put Toyota and BMW. Both, like, all cars running for both teams have been performing really well. Like, BMW currently doing the best. They're coming off of a win. Meanwhile, Toyota winning the number 7 car, winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans, obviously the crown jewel event in the WEC calendar. So both of them on great runs. And then in the European Le Mans series, you've got the United Autosports LMP2 and the Forestia Racing by Panis LMP2. It was the Panis-backed car that won LMP2 last year. That was the team I was pulling for as well, the VDS Panis Racing. That was a very nice livery as well. So they've still got plenty of time to, obviously, only being 6 points behind, they've been performing really well. And then the flop teams, in WEC, I've put the Iron Lynx LMGT3 with a current, after all the rounds so far, their current points total is none, which is somehow worse than last year when they only got I think it was 12 points or something like that over the whole season. I don't know why they even bother. So that's not their finest work. And then meanwhile for European Le Mans series, I've also gone with an LMGT3 car there. It's the Racing Spirit of Lemon. It's I say lemon. It's kind of pronounced
it's Le Mans.
Le Mans. Well, yeah, but it's not referring to the actual Le Mans track. It's referring to somewhere else. Anyway, the Racing Spirit of Le Mans LMGT3. It's the Aston Martin, which when I saw the race at Silverstone live last year, best sounding car by far. Really awesome car, and it came third in the standings last year. But this year it is right at the back, and it's very sad to see the drop off. It's crazy, really, because they like I say, they had such a great championship season last year, and they have such a great car. So it was definitely a shame to see, and I hope that they're not going to be able to claw the championship back now. But I would really like them to at least pull some good results out, because the car's got the legs for it. They just need to, I don't know, lock in. But yeah, both. I mean, I don't always watch the WEC, but I try to watch the ELMS as much as I can. I've had a really good time following that, and I really enjoy the LMP2 racing. So both series are great to watch. The 24 was pretty good this year. I'm hoping to go and see it in person next year. So by all means, definitely keep track of both of those. Can't recommend it enough. But I throw the ball back into your court, sir.
Indeed, as I move over to Formula E. This season has been a very strange one, with it being season 12. It's coming to the end with this weekend. Coming is the final two races at the XL circuit in London. Great venue, absolutely fantastic. Been there, went to the races last year. But it's also the final year of the Gen 3 Evo regulations, and the year has been so all over the place. There's been no one that's consistently been the best. There's been no team that's consistently been the best. And with only 2 races left to go and 1 weekend left to go, there's still nearly half the grid that are mathematically able to win.
Wow.
Like been a really tight and all over the place season with like so many different people. Considering that, like, there is someone in P17 who has won a race. It has been all over the place. But what I'd say is that the title battle has mainly kind of consisted between a sort of top 4, top 5 of Jake Dennis, Mitch Evans, Pascal Wehrlein, Oliver Rowland, and kind of Eduardo Mortara, who's had a very good bounce back season after nothing too great last year. But generally on the whole, they've all been so like mixed in their performance. Each one of the top 3 has 2 wins, a bunch of podiums, but they've also had retirements and weekends where they do absolutely nothing. This year we've had the new team in Citroën, who have been okay. Jean-Eric Verne has kind of not performed up to par, but has still gotten some decent points results. And Nick Casty is as usual, so sometimes he does absolutely phenomenal out of nowhere, and other times he does nothing. But throughout the season, there's been no one team that's just shown proper dominance, with Jaguar, Porsche, Andretti, and Mahindra all really quite close near the top. The only thing that's really able to be said is that you can kind of pick the bottom couple of like teams generally, and the bottom couple of drivers who just haven't performed consistently. This year they've kind of fully incorporated the whole pit boost thing, which was more of like a sort of experimental concept back last year, and it's good. I think it really mixes up the racing, that actually gives pit strategy, which is something Formula E didn't have for a long time. And I know that they're changing the format of how it goes again going forward into next year for the Gen 4 cars, but they're making it more consistent that on double headers, one of the races doesn't have pit boost, whereas the other does. So that shall be interesting to see. Besides that, anything else worth talking about? The new tracks. The new track that's shown up this year is not a new one, but it's a returning one for Sanya. And I really don't like Sanya that much. I think it's really quite a drop in quality for the recent circuits, considering every other track so far has been brilliant, or at least decent. Whereas Sanya, it's too tight, it's too many, it's just this horrendous hairpin, and with such a massive straight leading up to it, it puts such an emphasis on attack mode, and really means that it's just whoever gets lucky, and is good at conserving energy would win around there. And also led to the titanic pile-up of like 9 cars down at that hairpin during the race. But yeah, I think that's kind of all. I'm hoping that it improves with Gen 4 cars, and I'm hoping the Gen 4 sort of regulations are just better in general. If you've seen any of the posts from the cars, they look fantastic. Like they look absolutely gorgeous.
They do look good. I've got to say, like they look to be going more in line with the sort of general open wheel FIA kind of series cars, especially that rear wing. Like the beam on that looks very similar to like the 2022 F1 regs.
Yeah, so, the interesting thing is, I actually think they kind of look more like the hypercars, or like LMP2 cars than like open wheel cars. If we're getting
very specific, they look more like the prototype cars you get in. There's an Australian racing series with prototype cars, and you get some very sort of like hybridized open wheel / like LMP type prototype cars.
Yeah.
So if we're getting pedantic, that's what I'd say.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Right, now on to the top and flop drivers. Top drivers, realistically, any of the top three in the championship, and Roland can kind of be considered. All right, so Jake Dennis, Mitch Evans, Pascal Wehrlein, they've all had highs, they've all had lows, they've all had ups and downs. It's really hard to pick one driver that's been particularly better than usual. Nick De Vries has been pretty decent on the whole, getting a couple of wins for Mahindra. But I wouldn't say that anyone has, blown it out of the water of being a phenomenal driver this season.
Right.
The only one I'd maybe levy towards is Pepe Marti, for just a good rookie season, and same with Felipe Drugovich having a decent rookie season. But I wouldn't say they're consistent enough to say, oh, they're brilliant. They're some of the top drivers of the season. However, flop drivers, there's been a number. I just want to start off with Zane Maloney, who it's just not been there. I mean, realistically, Lola just haven't been there as a team, but at least Degrassi has had a couple of better points finishes, and the wild race win that he got in Shanghai from out of nowhere. Maloney's kind of done nothing. I wouldn't say he's been dreadful, but he's just been nowhere. Norman Nato, I think, has probably been the worst driver this season. Just not scoring points much at all, besides a 5th place in Berlin and a 6th in Tokyo. Everything else has been like down near the back or ended in a crash. Max Gunther has probably also been quite bad, just from the drop. You were talking earlier about the drop from last season. I think it's that kind of thing where he was up for a good chunk fighting near the top and fighting for wins, and now he's just nowhere. And while it isn't, I wouldn't say he's had a bad year of actual driving. Dan Ticktum has some of the worst luck and stewarding decisions possible. Like, there has been so many incidents where he has just been involved in, and it's not been his fault in the slightest, which is a shock for Ticktum. And it's really not shown in how low he is that he's actually been driving pretty decently on the whole. The only time that he really got his dues was in the first race in Tokyo, where he managed to get a last lap overtake to take the win out of pretty much nowhere. But yeah, I believe that's all for Formula E. Looking forward to next season.
Fair enough.
And for the finale.
Well, yeah, of course. Who are you hoping takes the win there?
So championship wise, I quite like to see Mitch Evans. That
would be cool.
I think if I were to put bets on it, Mitch Evans did win when I was there last year, but one of the races, not the championship.
Right. Yeah.
But also, I know Jake Dennis is pretty good at home. The London circuit. So I think realistically it's going to be between Evans and Dennis. Okay. But it's so tight, you just never know.
Fair enough. Right, well, we've got one more open wheel series to talk about, and that is IndyCar, one that we both sort of follow, at least sort of loosely. But it's been yet another season of dominance for Alex Palou, with the 4-time champion currently being on very much top form and leading the standings by a huge 110 points over Kyle Kirkwood. I mean, to put in perspective, Kyle Kirkwood's only, I think, 6 points. 8
He's
points.
Only 8 points over Malukas.
8 points over Malukas. Yeah, the gap between everyone else is so much less. But yeah, Palou, even after suffering, incidents like the DNF in Phoenix, things like that, he's just been absolutely on it from start to finish. Like, the whole season can be characterized by just that strong performance by Palou. And I mean, you get the occasional race win and some very good performances from the other drivers. But, it's been really Palou's year, as it has been so many years before as well. I really hope next year it's not quite so open and shut on the championship battle, at least. But that's not to say we haven't had some great moments. Obviously, this year we saw the closest ever finish to an Indy 500 when Felix Rosenqvist overtook David Malukas. Where did Daniel come from? Honestly. Yeah, overtook David Malukas. It's literally written down in front of me. Am I just mental or something? But yeah, with what only seemed like centimetres to go before crossing the line. But yeah, God. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't look like anyone is going to have an answer to the challenge laid down by Palou. there is only 5 races left on the calendar, but there's still definitely room for someone to, shake up the ground a little bit, hopefully make a little bit of a statement. At least give us something interesting to watch. But anyway, the top drivers are Shocker, Palou, and then the other top 3 drivers, Carl Kirkwood and not Daniel, David Malukas. But all 3 of them have really been on some fantastic form this season. If Palou wasn't quite so indomitable, I could easily see either of the 2 of them at least fighting for the championship lead. They've been absolutely great. I mean, Malukas, this is only his 2nd season?
No, he's had a couple now.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he started in...
This is his second with the team, though, isn't it? Was it his first?
No, it's his first with Penske.
First with Penske, that's it, okay. That's where I was getting the figure from. God, we've gone on for so long about racing, it all starts to blur into one.
It all starts to merge.
But great showings from them. Meanwhile, flop drivers, hate to say it, but Mick Schumacher, he's not necessarily had a dreadful season. It's just not been the one he'd hoped for. He's currently, out of the 3 rookies, he's currently last, if we're just counting those 3, with Colette ahead of him by 1 place, and I think
Hauger's up by a couple.
Yeah, Hauger's up by quite a few. So it's definitely
it's
not
nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's been a few incidents here and there. There was like the crash a few races back at Road America. Not crash, sorry, but the pit lane thing. And then also I was going to say, there was another crash earlier. I want to say St. Petersburg, although I don't remember.
Let's you, first race.
Okay, it was,
well.
All right. But yeah, not a great season for him. And then Nolan Siegel, also just not anything really. It's just been a bit of a mid-season.
For Siegel, it's essentially just that he's taking up a McLaren seat and has done nothing.
When you look at his teammates, you've got Pato O'Ward and Christian Lundgaard, who are both doing so much better. I mean, Lundgaard's currently 4th in the championship. I want to say, I mean, Lundgaard's been having a great season.
When your teammates are 4th and 5th in the championship, you kind of need to be doing a little bit better than 19th. And 19th and only 2 points off Dennis Hauger, who is a rookie. I
mean, it doesn't surprise me that they're dropping Siegel, but at the same time, I am quite sad that they are also binning off Lundgaard when he is performing very well. He's currently, of their 3 drivers, he is performing the best right now.
Yeah, so, but I'm also pretty sure McLaren will shut down, or Pato O'Ward will die before they drop him.
Well, yeah, exactly. But anyway, the most recent race was the GP at Portland, and guess who won? It was Alex Palou. Yes. So the Spaniard wins after another pretty dominant show. He was the fastest driver on track by nearly half a second a lap during some parts of it. Rosenqvist goes from pole to P2. Obviously demonstrating some pretty good pace. And, I mean, with that in mind, it makes it a little bit more, reassuring, given that he's been signed for McLaren next year. I mean, I feel like a lot of that McLaren move was motivated by his Indy 500 win, but to see him starting to pick the results back up again at this point is reassuring, especially for McLaren having made that decision. But yeah, also Remus VK, P4. Great result for him. So, 5 races left, including the much anticipated Freedom 250.
The Freedom 250.
I'm looking forward to that. Not in the normal way, but I'm ready for the chaos and the stupidity.
I can't watch to see how much of a shit show that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. But it'll be funny. Anyway, that's IndyCar though for this year. Not long left. It wraps up next month. So if you're going to tune in, now would be a good time. Watch the end and then hopefully catch the start of the next season from the beginning.
Indeed. Now, final motorsport before we wrap up this episode is the World Rally Championship, or WRC. And as with last year, it has been an absolute Toyota blowout and a half. with them occupying the top 5 slots in the championship. There's been an absolutely impressive year as anything from Sami Pajari, who outside of the retirement in Monaco and his first rally of the season, every other rally he's done fantastic. Only 2 where he didn't get podiums, and taking his first 2 wins back to back, one of them being a home win as well, is fantastic, and he's now only 30 points off the lead of the championship. From another very consistent drive from Elfyn Evans, as per usual. He's just a very consistent driver all round, and I believe the only rider to have scored points in every single race. Actually, or every single rally, but that's also a lie, because Takamoto Katsuta, who has had a brilliant step up in form, is taking 3rd at the moment. Solberg started the year strong, but has very much fallen back, and is beginning to pick it back up again. But having, with this being, I believe, his first full year in Rally 1, it's not too much of a shock that he's not quite up to par compared to everyone else yet. And still, as always, Sebastien Ogier shows up and gets the absolute most he can out of that Toyota, even on a partial season where he's not doing all the rallies. He will still be in that championship fight somewhere at some point. You don't get to being a 9-time rally driver champion for nothing. Moving away from Toyota, there's the Hyundai, who have gotten some podiums and wins with Formeau and Nivelle, who are doing whatever they can, but they're still somewhat behind Toyota, but they are inching closer. I believe Formeau's about 10 points off Ogier at the moment. But they did a weird thing this year where instead of having a permanent 3rd driver, they instead split that 3rd seat amongst 3 partial time drivers, of which I believe it's Pekka Lappi, Hayden Padden, and Danny Sordo. And realistically, they've all done fine. They've scored points consistently. They're all good drivers. Hayden Padden getting a podium in Croatia, but on the whole, nothing too crazy. And then M Sport, just needs to be mentioned. They are just the worst of the teams, unfortunately. Josh McCurlin is doing all right so far, but I wouldn't say he's blowing anyone away. And John Armstrong, for his first season, it's fine. But I maybe expected a little bit more considering how well he started. However, I also want to say that while Armstrong, is not the worst, I think dropping Munster was a very strange choice, considering he did markedly better last year. Now, onto the just top and flop drivers. Top drivers, I've already mentioned Pajari, Katsuta, and Elfyn Evans. But I'd also like to talk about some of the Rally 2 drivers. So the way that this basically works with rallying is all of the rally events have both Rally 1, Rally 2, and Rally 3 drivers in them. And if you manage to score within the top 10 of the rally, regardless of what, or if you manage to score points in a section of the rally in place of where a Rally 1 driver would be, you still get those points. So you have Rally 2 drivers who are ahead of some of the Rally 1 drivers in the Rally 1 championship. The main best culprits are the Russell brothers, who had an absolutely fantastic drive in Croatia, with Johan and Leo coming 4th and 5th respectively. And also Robert Verves, who has been pretty good, pretty consistent, getting within the top 10 in the last 3 rallies overall. Perfect. Nice. And then flop drivers, it's just M Sport. Realistically, it's just M Sport. They just haven't been up to snuff, but unfortunately can't really do that until Toyota fall off the high spot. And with only 4 more rallies to go, which I think they're paced pretty well. Well, there's only 4 left. It's only like 1 per month, pretty much. We've got the Paraguay later this August, and then it's 1 in September, 1 October, 1 November till the end of the year. Perfect, and that's everything for the episode, I believe. I think we've wrapped up. I can't tell if it's been a shorter one or a longer one. I'm not 100% certain.
Our sense of time is really off by this point in the. We've been doing this for nearly 30 episodes now. 30 consecutive weeks. We missed like what, one or two?
30 episodes, maybe. I don't think it's like 27, but
exactly.
Yeah, no, we did miss one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I believe that's everything. Next episode, we're going to be covering our second half of the F1 season predictions as we begin to wind back into the start of the second half of the actual F1 series. So we shall see you then for that. Thank you so much if you've managed to listen all the way through to our incessant waffling on other motorsport series that aren't F1. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If not, then that's
hopefully
fine.
It has opened your eyes to the wider world of motorsports.
Yeah. To some other series that are definitely worth watching. All the series we've mentioned here, they're at least worth checking out some of the highlights and stuff like that. 100%. Even if you're not able to watch some of the races.
Daddy wants you to watch NASCAR.
I'd say MotoGP. MotoGP myself, I think that's pretty good.
But
and I mean, certainly some of them, like for example, here in Britain, Formula E you can watch completely for free. Like it's just freely available on ITVX. So what's there to lose and sticking it on?
I mean, honourable mention: touring car races are also pretty easy to watch and very good.
Yeah.
British Touring Car Championship is great. Like it's great to watch. I don't watch it all the time. I'm very loose with the following of it, but that's great. Also, DTM similarly is also awesome. So if you're looking for something to watch, IMSA is also great.
Well, yeah. So
just motorsports in general. There is no bad motorsports.
There's plenty.
It's all subjective.
Good series out there.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's everything. So if you've listened this far, thank you so much for giving us your time, and make sure to subscribe or follow on social accounts: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, whatever. And yeah, that's everything. Do you have any final words? I'll take that as a no.
No.
Yes. Then perfect. That's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.